Hey there, folks. Welcome back to the channel where we dive into real-life stories that'll make you laugh, cry, and maybe even yell at your screen a little. Let me take you to a quiet little corner of Maple Grove, Ohio, where a guy named Ethan Harper thought he'd found his slice of the American dream until his new neighbors turned it into a nightmare. This is the story of how a backyard battle over a few watts of electricity became an all-out war for respect, boundaries, and a man's right to his damn lawn. Picture Ethan's place. A cozy mid-century rancher with big windows that catch the morning sun, a front yard with just the right amount of charm, and a backyard that's his pride and joy, fenced off, private. The kind of spot where you sip a cold one after a long day and feel like the world's all right. Ethan's a graphic designer, works from home, keeps to himself mostly, but he's the guy who will wave at you while mowing his lawn or toss you a beer at the block party. For years, Maple Grove was his haven. Neighbors respected each other, shared spaces were kept clean, and if a tree branch hung over someone's fence, you'd sort it out over coffee. No big deal. Ethan loved that vibe. It's why he stayed. Then enrolled Lauren and Derek Miller. They showed up last spring in a shiny black Range Rover, the kind that screams, "We've got money and you're gonna know it." Lauren stepped out first, blonde, designer sunglasses, that kind of energy where you can tell she's sizing up the whole street like it's her kingdom. Derek, her husband, was quieter, built like a linebacker, with a stare that could freeze you in your tracks. Ethan, being Ethan, tried to break the ice. Walked over with a smile, hand outstretched, said, "Hey, welcome to the neighborhood. I'm Ethan. I live next door." Lauren barely looked at him, gave a half smile, muttered, "Thanks," and turned back to her phone. Derek just nodded, already hauling boxes like he had better things to do. Ethan figured, okay, maybe they're just stressed from the move. Give him time. Time, though, didn't help. Within a week, Lauren's Range Rover was parked so far over Ethan's driveway that he could barely get his Prius out. He'd come home from grabbing groceries and find her car blocking his garage, forcing him to shimmy past like he was sneaking into his own house. He asked her nicely once, said, "Hey, Lauren, could you pull your car up a bit? Kinda tough to get in." She waved him off, didn't even look up from her coffee, just said, "It's fine. I'll move it later." Later never came. Then there were the parties, loud, late. The kind where bass thumps through your walls and you find empty beer cans in your flower beds the next morning. Ethan's backyard, his sanctuary, started feeling like a landfill. He tried to be patient, figured they'd settle in, learn the neighborhood's rhythm. But it got worse. Lauren started treating Ethan's side of the fence like her personal overflow lot. One Saturday, he walked out to mow his lawn and found her Range Rover parked halfway across his grass, tire tracks gouging up the sod he'd spent weeks reseeding. He knocked on her door, kept his cool, said, "Lauren, you're on my lawn. This is my property." She was on her phone, barely glanced at him, and went, "Oh, relax, Ethan, it's just grass. It'll grow back." He stood there, jaw tight, thinking, this isn't about grass, it's about respect. Derek wasn't any better. Ethan caught him using his garden hose to wash their car, water pooling across his lawn like a swamp. When Ethan called him out, saying, "Man, that's my hose," asked first, Derek just shrugged, tossed it on the ground, and said, "You weren't using it. What's the big deal?" The big deal was Ethan's water bill, his property, his space, but to the Millers, it was like Ethan's stuff was community property. The real kicker came when Ethan decided to go green. He just bought a new electric car, a little hatchback he was proud of, and shelled out a couple of grand to install a charging station by his garage. Took weeks to get the permits, hire an electrician, and make sure everything was up to code. He felt good about it, practical, eco-friendly, a win. Until one morning, he walked out and saw Lauren's Tesla plugged into his charger. His car? Unplugged, pushed to the side like it was in her way. Ethan's blood boiled. He marched over, found Lauren in her yoga gear, sipping a smoothie. "Lauren, you unplugged my car to use my charger? That's my property, my bill." She rolled her eyes, gave him this fake innocent look, and went, "Oh, I thought it was, like, a shared thing." "Chill, Ethan, it's just a little electricity. Just a little electricity." Those words stuck in his craw. He tried reasoning with her, then Derek, but it was like talking to a brick wall. They kept using his charger. Lauren's Tesla, Derek's electric pickup, didn't matter. Every time Ethan confronted them, it was the same smug attitude. Derek even had the nerve to laugh once, said, "What? You gonna call the cops over a plug? Good luck with that." Ethan started noticing other stuff too. His hose was slashed one day. His mailbox was dented like someone took a bat to it. He couldn't prove it was them. But come on, The timing wasn't exactly subtle. Ethan wasn't a pushover, but he wasn't looking for a fight either. He'd always believed in talking things out, being the bigger person. But the Millers weren't just inconsiderate, they were bullies, testing how far they could push him. He started documenting everything. Photos of their car on his lawn, videos from the Ring camera he installed, receipts for the charger. Every time they crossed a line, he added it to the file, building a case he hoped he'd never need. The breaking point came one muggy July evening. Ethan got home late, tired from a long day, and found Lauren's Tesla parked so close to his garage he couldn't even open his car door. His charger was busted, wires exposed, casing pried open like someone took a crowbar to it. Derek was leaning against his truck, smirking. Ethan lost it. "What the hell did you do to my charger?" Derek didn't even blink, just said, "Looks like it broke. Maybe get a better one." Ethan stepped closer, voice low. "You're damaging my property, man. This stops now." Derek laughed, got in his truck, and peeled out, leaving Ethan standing there, fists clenched, heart pounding. That was it. No more Mr. Nice Guy. Ethan called a lawyer the next day, a guy named Tom who'd helped a buddy with a property dispute. Tom looked over Ethan's evidence, photos, videos, receipts, even a water bill spiked from Derek's car washes, and said, "You've got a slam dunk here. Let's hit him with everything." They filed a lawsuit, property damage, theft of electricity, and harassment. Ethan felt a mix of relief and dread serving those papers, like he was finally fighting back, but stepping into a war he didn't want. Lauren flipped when she got the notice, banged on Ethan's door, screaming, "You think you can scare us with your little lawsuit? You're pathetic." Ethan stayed calm, said, "See you in court, Lauren. Keep off my property." She stormed off, but the glares from her and Derek got icier by the day. Ethan didn't back down. He worked with Tom, double-checked every piece of evidence, even dug up old HOA complaints about the Millers from their last neighborhood. Turns out, they'd pulled the same stunts before. Court day was electric. The courtroom buzzed. Neighbors from Maple Grove packed the seats, whispering like they were at a high school football game. Lauren and Derek strutted in, all confidence, their lawyer spinning some BS about Ethan being a nosy neighbor out to get them. But when Tom laid out the evidence, security footage of Derek unplugging Ethan's car, photos of Lauren's Tesla on his lawn, the busted charger, it was like watching their whole act crumble. Lauren tried to lie, saying, "That charger was there when we moved in. It's not his." Tom slid the receipts across the table, and the judge wasn't having it. Then came the kicker. Tom dropped police reports from the Millers' old neighborhood: vandalism, harassment, the works. The judge's face said it all. The ruling was quick. Guilty on all counts: property damage, theft, harassment. Lauren and Derek had to pay for the charger, the lawn, Ethan's legal fee, thousands of bucks. But the judge went further. Their history of screwing over neighbors earned them 3 months in jail each, a wake-up call for their entitled nonsense. As the bailiff cuffed them, Lauren shot Ethan a look that could kill, hissed, "This isn't over." Ethan just stared back, thinking, "Yeah, it is." When Ethan got home that day, it was like the air was lighter. No more Range Rover in his driveway. No more thumping music. No more smirks. He hired a landscaper to fix his lawn, replanted his flower beds, and moved the charger into his garage where no one could touch it. Neighbors stopped by, offered beers, said things like, "Man, you did what we all wanted to." Turns out, the Millers had been a pain to everyone, but Ethan was the one who stood up. He put up a new fence taller, sturdier, and upgraded his cameras, just in case. When the Millers' house sold a few months later, a young couple moved in, all smiles and homemade cookies as a hello. Ethan felt something he hadn't in a while: peace. Sitting on his porch one morning, coffee in hand, he thought about what he'd been through. It wasn't just about a charger or a lawn, it was about fighting for what's yours when someone thinks they can take it. The Millers saw his kindness as weakness, but he showed them strength doesn't always shout. Sometimes it's quiet, steady, and backed by a damn good lawyer. Looking back, Ethan wonders if he could have handled it differently, maybe talked to the HOA sooner, or called the cops the first time they touched his charger. But deep down, he knows he did what he had to. The Millers pushed him to his limit, and he pushed back, not with fists or yelling, but with proof and persistence. His home's his again, and that's worth every second of the fight. So, what do you think? Was Ethan right to go full legal, or should he have tried harder to keep the peace? Have you ever dealt with neighbors like the Millers, or been in a fight for what's yours? Drop it in the comments. I read every one. and I want to hear your stories. Hit that like button if you're Team Ethan, subscribe for more real-life drama, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay strong, folks, and keep your chargers locked up tight.